Okay, so during the break, you had me laughing because you don't make a lot of money doing this. And I think a lot of people think, yeah, everybody doing this is, it's tax dollars. They're raking it in. It's not true.
John, a lot of people confuse a state representative or a state senator with Congress. And I don't make $180,000 a year. In fact, I told you on the break, it's $1,800 a month. And I do this job typically about 50 hours a week in the interim. During session, as I described what the typical day was, during session, we're going 70, 80 hours a week. And during session, I do make $123 a day in addition, and that's to cover housing, food, gas, all the miscellaneous stuff. So during session, I get up to like $5,000 a month. But remember, I have to cover rent or house payment and food out of that.
Yeah, because you still your home is the Dells, right?
Right.
And then you have to have a place in Salem because you're there all the time.
That is true. That is true. Now, I'm fortunate enough. I was blessed. I was able to buy a home in Salem, South Salem. But most of my colleagues that live in Klamath Falls or Ontario, they come in and they have to rent an apartment or they stay in a motel or, you can imagine it's tough and you're away from family other than, Cliff Bentz from Ontario, for example, goes home once or twice a month is all to see his family. And so you miss out on a lot. So people are always asking me, $1,800 a month, seriously. So why do you do it?
Yeah.
Really, I've always enjoyed community service. I've always enjoyed helping people, and that's really what it's all about. On a daily basis, we will average probably 3 to 4 additional brand new constituent requests for help with some state agency or getting answers to some problem they have. And it's a good feeling when you get somebody to a positive outcome.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge you find with the public? As far as what's their biggest misperception of you?
Probably the lack of understanding about what it is that I do. And so I spend a lot of time doing coffees, meeting with just a few people or a small town hall, and spend a lot of time educating them as to what it is I do and what it is I can do to help them. If they have a problem with Department of Human Services or Department of Revenue, I have a certain amount of power and authority, but a lot of times people contact me thinking that I have this magic legislative wand and I can just wave it over the problem and make it go away because I have a lot of power. Well, the power is limited, and the reason for that is because of, back to our civics class in high school, separation of powers. I'm the legislative branch, and virtually all the agencies are in the executive branch.
Okay.
So, there's a line that I can't cross. They definitely want to work with me and help me resolve problems for my constituents, but at a point when they say no, that's about all I can do. When I go to the agency director and I say, hey, can we do this? And I usually come in with my relationship and hat in hand saying, I have a constituent that has a problem. What can we do about it? And I've got any number of those going on right now. The ladder art in the gorge, for example, I'm sure you're familiar with that. I'm working with Oregon Department of Transportation right now and Gorge Arts Council and trying to come up with a resolution and find some locations that we can actually get those ladders put up for people to view.
Yeah.
Just an example of some of the stuff I do.
Great. Yeah. What about when you have to come back with the bad news? Then are you a bad guy?
I try to prepare people ahead of time and let them know that, there is no guarantee. A constituent in Madras met with me one day with their attorney, and this was a year ago. And they had a Measure 49 claim, which is a land use partitioning type of situation. And LCDC, Land Conservation Development Commission, turned down their petition. So they contacted me and said, is there anything you can do? I said, probably not, but I will try. I'll try anything to help people out. And fast forward through this session that we just ended, I actually was able, with the help of the director of LCDC and a couple of other key people in the legislature, to work with them and actually get a bill passed that helped my constituent and about 6 other folks in Oregon that this would apply to, that they can refile their petition with LCDC and try to get their property subdivided. So, occasionally I prepare them and say, probably not much of a chance that I can get anything done, but I will try. And then I go about with my relationships that I've built up and make contacts and say, is there anything we can do to help these folks?
What about the future? What do you think? Do you think you want to go on and do this in Washington?
I told folks when I was first appointed and then reelected, I'm not a career politician. I have no intention of doing this indefinitely. I may do the job as long as folks want me to do it, but I may not. I do get a lot of stuff done for constituents, and there's no indication that next year when we go through re-election again, which I plan to do, there's no indication that folks are unhappy with me and will not want to send me back to Salem. But I'm not going to keep doing this indefinitely.
Yeah.
I have a lot of other endeavors. I own commercial property downtown the Dalles. I've got the little bumper business. I've got 12 grandkids. There's a lot of life to be enjoyed out there. And though I really enjoy helping folks, there's a point where I'm going to get to that point and say, it's time for somebody else to step up.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of other things. I've learned a lot through this job where I can kind of splinter off and help veterans. I'm a disabled veteran, and so I know there's a lot of stuff in that arena where I could help veterans and disabled veterans, and I do a lot of that now, but maybe I would look at doing that pardon me, on a little more full-time basis. Probably won't be going to Salem on a regular basis for too many more years.
Interesting. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I think your outlook on things is really good, and that you're not a career politician, that you have been a businessman, that you know what you're talking about, and you have to come back and face all of us too. So
True.
And everybody likes you, so I think you're doing something right. So, John, thank you for your time.
Thank you, John.
Good to see you
Enjoyed it.
again. You guys, as always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. And remember, take care of each other.
Do you have a guest idea? Let us know. Go to localite.com.